Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, going from thousands to millions. I've got a great friend of mine on today, Luke. Luke, how are you?
Yeah, good. Sam, yourself?
Yeah, I'm well, mate. How are you coping with the COVID-19 isolation rules?
Yeah, look, it's a different way of living, but we've all got it pretty good when you think about it here at home. We've got good TVs and gaming consoles and all the rest of it. So there's plenty, and obviously our family too. So there's plenty to do.
Sure is, mate. So tell me, Luke, I've known you for a number of years now. Again, there's a bit of a trend building up here. I met you off Instagram. You hit me up probably, a couple of years ago now. We caught up. We had a bit of a chat in my office, probably, 6 months, 6 to 12 months ago about what you're doing. Mate, from what I've seen so far, you're doing a great job with, your business, the value that you're adding to people, which is all fantastic. But we've really never sat down and had a proper conversation of sort. So I guess it's an opportunity not only for me, but also for the audience to get to know you more and what you do. So take me back with to high school days, and then tell me from there what you did and what you got up to.
Yeah, so I guess a bit of a nerd at school. Moved around a lot as a child. Lived in Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. Starting out in year 7, it was almost like, yeah, here we go again, a new bunch of friends, starting from scratch. And I think that's helped me, with my social skills over time to build up from a shy little boy to someone that can, I guess, approach and talk to anyone. Probably from, the age of 10 onwards, I suppose, had this sort of obsession with, computers and the internet. And, Dad's IT department really hated me. He was working at 3M Innovation. And, they said, Mark, keep your son the hell away from this computer. It was an old IBM ThinkPad. And, I was always stuffing it up and stuff like that. But that was how I was learning, I guess, back in the, the Netscape Navigator days. Basically Mum bought, me our first real computer back probably in year 7 in high school when I first started school. And I was just obsessed with this thing. I was like trying to pull it apart. I was trying to, play heaps of games and all sorts of stuff. And what ended up happening was I ended up learning Linux, which is what most servers run on. And that was through a friend at school that gave me a disc and a book and said, have a go at this. Tell me what you think. And because I was just so obsessed with tweaking computers and stuff, I learned Linux very quickly, and that allowed me to exchange, my knowledge for a server off a guy off the internet. And I ended up with my own dedicated server on the internet, which opened up a whole world for me as a 13 or 14-year-old. I managed to start a little hosting business, so web hosting for websites. I ended up partnering with a guy and writing an MSN Messenger robot, for those that remember MSN. So ended up with a couple of 100,000 people using the bot, and that allowed me to generate, visitors to the bot's website and, make a couple of grand a month off the bot's traffic through Google AdSense. And all the money I was sort of making as a 13, 14-year-old, I was sort of dusting half of it on, petrol scooters and, computers and all sorts of stuff. But the other half I was, buying things off eBay and reselling at school. So I don't know if those of you who might remember, Bear Margera and Hardigram and CKY and all the Jackass guys, that was pretty big when I was sort of, starting in high school. So I was basically getting all the merchandise like Zippo lighters and, wristbands and all that sort of stuff and reselling it at school for a profit. So, so I had this whole sort of world going on when I started high school, and ended up getting, DDoS attacked with my server. And because it was all like a sort of big game and all a bit of fun back then, because I was just a kid, I sort of thought, this is all too hard. And I decided just to give it all up and sell off the clients and sort of move on.
So tell me, so you sold it to clients, you were like, how old were you at that age? At that stage?
I would have been 13 or 14 in the early 2000s, and
okay.
Sort of this went on for about 2 years.
Okay, so how old are you now?
I'm 32.
Okay, so 13 or 14, you sold the clients. What was next? What did you end up doing after that?
So I basically, I found that high school wasn't really my thing, and I was struggling with homework and stuff like that, and Yeah, it was basically, mum wasn't really a fan of me at the time either. I was sort of, spending a lot of time hanging out with my mates. She was a single mum, so she was working, 2 or 3 jobs to support me and my little brother, and to have our own home. So my parents split when I was 10.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was almost Luke against the world at the time. I was just trying to find my identity as sort of like a 15 or 16-year-old. I ended up actually getting kicked out of home. So mum basically told me, to get out of home. We obviously get along like a house on fire now, but so she kicked me out. I ended up moving in with my dad. He was living in Baronia. And, one of the things is my dad is, or was an alcoholic. And that did take his life when he was 50 in 2010. And so I was living with dad for a couple of months, and he was obviously drunk a lot of the time, and the CAT team and the cops were coming on a regular basis. It was just sort of this cycle. But I guess I kept busy by building computers and playing Xbox, and I was actually getting Centrelink payments at the time because I'd obviously left high school. And the Centrelink payments would come every fortnight, and I'd buy a new computer part every fortnight. And I slowly built this computer and got that running. And, at this point, I ended up getting an apprenticeship. I approached the careers teacher at my old school, and she helped me find an apprenticeship in printing. So I basically got into that. I actually stuck with the printing for a number of years. I did a 4-year apprenticeship in printing. A lot of people don't know that actually printing is a trade. And you do go to trade school and do an apprenticeship. So because I was able to leave school at 16 and, actually get into the workforce and basically earn a living, by the age of 21, after doing an apprenticeship, I was able to actually, be on a half decent wicket at the time. So, being able to earn over $1,000 a week at sort of 2021 was not too bad. But I had gone through the pain of obviously, living out of home on $300 or $350 a week. I did have a car loan at the time. I love my cars like yourself. So I just found that I had to have a V8 when I was 18. So I went out 2 weeks after turning 18 and got a loan for a V8 SS Commodore. And so basically, got to sort of 2021. I met my now wife at 17. So we've been together since then. And she's a walking and living spreadsheet. We sort of meet in the middle with finance, which works out really well. I'm a bit of a spender and she's a good saver. So we've taught each other a lot. She's probably taught me more. We managed to save up and, put a deposit on a block of land at the age of 23. And we ended up building our first house on that block of land. So I'm very fortunate that she was able to, really rope me down with finance to be able to do that. Then got to, I suppose, the age of 26 and, been printing since, a young age. And I decided that I was a bit over working in a factory, working for someone else. We'd have clients come in to do a press approval on a job. And I felt that, I really got along with the clients and they really got along with me. I felt a connection. Working in a factory as a printer, I almost felt like, not that I was a bit more than that, I just felt really bored and that I wanted to get out and see the world. I was in almost factory. I was in this factory every single day for 8 to 10 hours a day. And I just felt that my identity wasn't that. So I sort of was chatting to my wife at the age of sort of 26 and said, I'd love to sort of look at what I'm doing from a careers point of view. And she said, what about all that stuff you told me you used to do when you were a young teenager, all the website stuff? And I said, yeah, that's not a bad idea. I had this big thing where, computers were fun. I didn't want to make fun business, but then I realized over time that you can have fun in business. What your work life doesn't have to be work. It can be, enjoyable. So basically, I decided to start a little hosting business again. So I ended up getting a reseller hosting account through Venture IP. Those guys are awesome. And started chatting to the IT guy that used to come into my work, and he ended up helping me, I guess, get my first couple of clients. So through his, obviously, client base. So I ended up making a couple $100 a year, you could say, off hosting. And, it was a good little start, and it was just a bit of a hobby after work. And, I was walking out of my work one day, and my boss, who's actually a great client of mine at the moment, said to me, hey, look, you're into that computer stuff, aren't you? I just had this website built. What do you think it's worth? And he showed me this website he just had built. And obviously I was building websites when I was a young kid. And he said, I said to him, I said, oh, look, mate, probably $500 I would have paid for that. And he goes, I've just paid $6,000. And he didn't seem phased. And I thought, oh, wow. And I literally left the building that day and I thought, this guy's built a website for my boss.
Yeah.
And it's more than my monthly salary just for a website. I can build websites. Like they're easy to build. I put my eyes closed. So I'm already doing the hosting, and I sort of went home that night and researched, web design. And, obviously it was 10 years later or 15 years later from when I first started doing it. And I discovered WordPress, and I'm like, what's this WordPress thing? It looks pretty straightforward. Yeah, this is pretty easy. There's templates. And so I went to my old boss sort of later that week, and I saw him again, and I said, hey, Macca, this is now a new thing. I'm actually building websites now. So if you've got any, friends or colleagues that need a website, I can host their websites, but I can also build them.
Build it.
And basically, it would have been 2 weeks later. He said, Luke, I've got a friend of mine. He wants to see you. He needs a website done. And, gratefully my old boss was a really big supporter of me, and he knew that I'd done well for them, and I was a good employee. So he wanted to look after me back. And basically I went out after work one day and went and saw his mate, who owns a mattress business in Moorabbin. George Wakefield's his name. He's a ripper guy, still a client now. And sat down with him and decided to build his first website for him. I think it was for $500 or $900 or something like that. And, I probably spent way too much time on it for what I earned, which is obviously what happens.
Yeah.
And basically got that website built, and George was really happy. And from there, I managed to sort of put it out there online and sort of say through my social networks and family and friends, I do websites. If you know anyone that needs one, let me know. And I had a friend of mine pop up that I used to go dirt bike riding with, and he won the Telstra Business Award. I think it was 2014 or 15. And basically, I saw that as something I wanted to latch onto. Yeah. And I managed to build his website and sort of say, we did the website for the Telstra Business Award winner. Look at us kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of pumped me up a lot to just keep offering websites and just keep getting out there. And slowly but surely over a 12-month period, it all sort of built up. And I was doing a lot of websites and, obviously hosting as well. And I got to a point where I'd saved enough money, and I had long service leave going to me as well, that I left the printing job after 12 months from starting, Modern Visual, the business on the side.
Yep.
And after 2 or 3 months of being full time with Modern Visual, I managed to hire my first employee, just because my main aim is, growing and sales. I don't see myself as being someone that likes being on the tools. I'd rather be the guy running the show and really building. A lot of people enjoy being a freelancer, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I just found that my goal was just to grow this company as quickly as I can, to obviously, provide myself a lifestyle, but continue to help more people through what we do, because obviously it's all limited by one person. So I managed to hire my first web designer after a couple of months, and that went well because that freed me up to a lot more sales, a lot more cold calling. I was ringing, like shopping centers and saying, hey, I'd love to, look, your website's terrible, let me build your website. And I get these ladies saying, appreciate you calling, good luck with your mission, like sort of, like, no chance, mate, but good luck.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of rejection, a lot of, a lot of wins as well, I guess. But just put in a lot of hard yards at the start. And after 8 months, I managed to secure a contract with a friend's business. I don't know if you've heard of AMX Superstores, the motorbike shops.
Yes.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine, Rod Hunter, started and sold AMX, but just before he sold it, he got me in to run their social media marketing and their email marketing. And a friend of mine was sort of doing that for fun on the side of his wholesale lighting job. And, bringing on AMX allowed us to hire that friend of mine full time. It didn't fully fund it, the contract, but it sort of gave us a bit more of a, regular income stream. And that became our first sort of, marketing or social media contract. I think, you've got to have the attitude of, just have a go and deal with it later.
Yeah.
If you
100%.
can't,
100%, I agree. Yeah.
A lot of people hold themselves back, and sort of thing. Oh, well, I don't know that. I mean, you figure it out as you go, and as long as
So
the client, you might lose financially, but as long as the client gets a good experience, you sort of learn as you go, I guess.
So true. I'm a massive believer of that. Massive believer of that.
Yeah, so that helped me in a big way, and that was obviously 2014ish. I started Monvisual, and since then we've added a number of new services. We've come a long way. We've gone backwards. We've gone forwards. We've grown a team. We shrunk the team. We grew the team.
Yeah.
It's definitely a journey, and I think I've gone from working in a factory to running a business where it was actually my first office job. It was actually my own business. I'd never worked in an office.
Yeah.
So I've gone from the orange fluoro to the polo shirt, and it's definitely a big change. But
and I love that. So tell me, why do you think you were able to do that? What was your belief system? So here you are, as a young guy working in a factory, earning okay money for your age, right? Doing okay. An opportunity came up, and you saw the opportunity, going, "Wow, I love computers. I love what I'm doing. There's an opportunity here." But what was the driver behind you doing that? And I know you don't really think about that at that point of time. It's like, well, there's an opportunity. I can do it. Let's get on with it and do it. But what was it? Why do you think, like looking back now, what allowed you to do that? What allowed you to make that decision? Have you ever thought about that?
I haven't actually thought about it directly. I guess it's a case of I did it in a bit of a safe way where I didn't quit my day job on the spot and go out full time. I, built the business up after hours. There was a lot of times where I had to sneak into the storeroom and, take phone calls and say to client, "Look, sorry, I can't chat now. I've got a meeting I'm about to start. I've got to chat to you at a certain time." And then, obviously I'm working in a factory. There was a lot of faking it with the initial client. Yeah, so I think.
But you delivered. You delivered
always,
every time. 100%.
Always, and I've got such a big conscience, and I would not sleep for 2 weeks, even if I was late to a meeting for 10 minutes. I wouldn't sleep for 2 weeks. So I think that way that I'm wired really drove me to be that way. I think there's a borderline bit of insanity in your mind to think that you can actually do it, and you've almost convinced yourself that the impossible is possible, and you just roll with it. But I think seeing and knowing people in the flesh that have had a lot of success and have done it before you, I think that really helps. Like, I'm very fortunate that before Dad passed away, back when I was a young kid, he was very successful in the early 80s. He did go bankrupt after the interest rates went through the roof and a few different deals went to shit. So I'm very fortunate. I guess we were a successful family back in the day. So that, I guess, proved to me that it's possible. I've also got family that have been very successful as well in business, and now very, very good in my networking. Knowing guys like yourself really helps, I guess, just cement that what's possible. It almost makes it a bit more normal. And I think it's a testament to guys like yourself that are doing what you do online and stuff like that. You're giving young guys hope of what's possible, and they don't have to be stuck in a job that they hate. They can achieve success. And back in the day, it wasn't as easy to have access to guys like yourself. And very fortunate to have people like yourself around that prove you prove what's possible.
But mate, at the end of the day, thank you for that. But at the end of the day, we all the same. We all started somewhere, and I can relate to everything you're saying because I've been there too. I remember answering those calls while I was working somewhere else. I remember answering phone calls, and I've said before, while my daughter was having her first birthday, and I had to answer support calls and get things done. So I totally get it. And it's just about, I think what's really important is self-belief, which you kind of mentioned. It's about believing yourself. It's about seeing opportunities and taking those opportunities and running with it. And perhaps one of the things that comes up is not over-analyzing things. We tend to over-analyze, And
I've had that with staff where, particular staff members will overanalyze things and sort of almost try and convince me, it's not a good idea to move forward on something. And you're a little bit, I suppose, torn. Do you listen to the people that are on the ground all day with your clients, or do you go with your gut and yeah, it's a tough one sometimes, but overanalyzing things is definitely going to hold a lot of people back.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me, where to now? So tell me about the business. You guys branched out. You're doing a lot of different things. What's in the future for you guys? What are you doing? So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I guess the first couple of years was all about, throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. And we've done that. And we've learned that half the things we were doing that we thought people expected us to do weren't really that viable. There were a lot of things that we're doing where we felt really busy and successful, but ultimately they weren't that profitable for us. So
Yep.
we've actually cut back a lot of our services. And
Yep.
one of the things we did roughly 2 years ago was partnered with HubSpot, which is a marketing automation and CRM platform.
Yep.
So we became one of their solutions partners, and that's helped us out, I guess, to open us up to new channels of revenue, but also to help businesses at a higher tier with a lot of solutions. So I guess our plans moving forward is to stick to a lot of project-based work, which is what we're doing. We used to have a lot of ongoing marketing retainers and advertising services, which we've got rid of because we found that they weren't that profitable compared to what we've got now.
Sure.
So we're just looking at continuing to help customers with online portals, web design, CRM systems, everything from a technology and a marketing point of view is, I suppose, the direction we're heading. And we're very fortunate to have a lot of fantastic clients. We started with a lot of startup-based clients where we've sort of moved to that mid-market space. So, yeah, I think it's just, I'm really excited because it all goes back to the roots of the things when I was a young kid that made me excited, especially with like looking at the way HubSpot handles chatbots and, automation and split testing and all the stuff we're doing right now is the stuff that gets me really excited and makes me want to go to work every day. And, we were doing a lot of stuff that didn't make me feel that way. And I'm just so happy that we've been able to take the plunge and restructure and cut back a lot of stuff that, people would maybe expect us to do, but we're like, no, hang on, we should be specializing a lot more.
Yeah, stay true to yourself, but also focus on the vertical and what you not only good at, but you're passionate about, which is really, really important, And I find that within the journey that you go, and running a business is a massive journey. If you don't change things and you don't go through those things, it's not natural and it's not normal. And, we've been through it many times and we're still going through it. With technology, it's constantly changing. It's about diversification and so much more. So tell me, what do you do for fun? So when you're not working, what's for fun?
Yeah, I guess, obviously I'm a bit of a car nut, like I mentioned earlier, like yourself, Sam. I like to get out as best I can. I've almost had to take a bit of a sacrifice where I've gone for a Porsche Macan GTS as my, I suppose, main chariot. Built that a couple of years back, brand new, and optioned it out as Porsche love to do with you. So I guess having a 3.5-year-old daughter, that's perfect for me to have my family avatar running. And then I've also done obviously Sandown and Phillip Island and, a number of car days with that. So I guess I love to get out in the car, and one day I'd love to, look at some nicer, I guess, supercars once I've put more money into the business, you could say. I'm always investing in the business.
Good.
I've got to be disciplined and wait it out, I guess. I love to just tinker with technology, and I've got my drones and love spending time with the family. Yeah, I guess it's all tech and automotive for me, probably like yourself.
Yeah, pretty much similar, mate. I love that. So tell me, this is one question that I ask everybody. If you have to give any advice to anyone starting up a business, whether young or old, and they're just debating, should I make the plunge? Should I do this? Should I not do this? What would your advice be to them?
I think, the main thing is when you start out, you're almost very much about the how and the what you're doing. I think it's really important to work out why you do what you do. Yeah. Because everyone's sort of, when they're saying, that's all airy-fairy and it doesn't really help or mean much. But I guess as your radar internally develops over time, you really do start to be driven by that guiding or shining star or that purpose. And I think if I could say to people, it's so important that you do work out what your purpose is in life. it doesn't matter what relationships you have or what services you offer or what your business is called or anything like that. Every decision you make needs to be guided by an overarching purpose.
Yeah, I'm a massive believer of that. So, mate, where do we find you? So if you want to find you, where are you on social? Can you give us a bit of a plug about where we can find you? Because I think you have a great story. For you to make such a change in your life, and I really what I love about you is that you're one of those guys that you're not only motivated, but you have a great personality, and you're one of those guys that looks long term, and I love that about you. So I can't wait to have you back on the show down the track and see how your business is growing and how well you're doing. So where do we find you?
Yeah, appreciate those words, Sam. You can find me on Instagram, Luke Trewin, Trewin. I'm also on Facebook. You can Google Luke Trewin and Modern Visual will come up. We were in the paper in the Herald Sun last week, so
Wow.
A few articles around. You can suss us out.
Good. I love that. That's pretty cool. So that's it, mate. Thanks for joining us. It's been a great chat. And like I said, I'd love to get you back on again in 12 months' time and have a chat and see how you're going and how you're going also with the cars, if you had any upgrades. Hey, what's your pet's name, by the way?
The dog or the horse?
No, the dog, not the horse.
This is Harley the Pomeranian. I actually bought him for my wife when I started the business to sort of say, here's a bit of a distraction for you. So he's the same age as the business itself.
No way. I love that. A Pomeranian. So, I'm from Iran. So you put an Iranian and a Pom together, you get a Pomeranian.
Nice.
I just made that up.
It's good company.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please follow Luke on his Instagram, Facebook, and also please, we do this because of we want to share stories like Luke's, which is so pure, so great. So that's it. Tune in, listen to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I look forward to catching up with you all again and having a conversation next time. God bless. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Sam.